All right, so we got we got a SCOBY recently, and I'm making some tea here to put it in. Here's the SCOBY. Look this way. I have some no boil tea here. I might let it sit longer. Yeah, maybe I'll just let it sit longer. But here's the SCOBY inside here. I'll do this later when I get back, maybe. I'll let that sit a little longer. Maybe I'll even let it sit all day. Anyway, let's get some shoes on. Some gloves. Take that doggy for a walk. She deserves a walk, that girl. She hasn't been on a walk for probably 4 days. And that is not like me, because I take her all the time. Okay. Let's do it. Actually, let's fill the bird feeder real quick. I'm coming, Saia. These birds go through this so fast. And it's a matter of a day and they clean me out. There's gotta be a faster way here without making too much of a mess. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. It's working. I bought 2 more of these bags. The birds are set for the summer. Tell you the truth though, I only like to feed them when it's cold. It's still freezing at night, so they'll get some seed. I like to help them out when it's cold. That's that. That's empty. Let's throw this back up. It's mostly full. Alright. This is trash. We're gonna take that doggy for a walk. We're gonna take that doggy for a walk, huh? Huh, Saia? Go for a walk, huh? You wanna go for a walk? Of course you do. Let's go, Saia. Come on, let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. You have water? Yep, lots of water. Hello, girl. That's a doggy. That's my doggy. Let's go. Let's go. Let's hit the trail. Let's go. Crazy dog. Let's go. Hey, I like this pile of shit somebody piled up here before we bought the house. Pile of crap. tilt back with the hair. Over there. Any neighbor dogs want to come? I don't see them. Excuse me. This is what we do. Off to the desert to walk 1.5 miles, 2 miles. So this is really an experiment to see how, brief break here, sage, the dry stuff is more potent smelling than the green, and I can't smell worth a crap, but I can smell the dry stuff. A lot of sage out here. I think most of what you see is sagebrush. Check out this big piece of lumber. It's like 8" by 8" by 10. Massive piece of wood here. Massive. Be cool for making like walls. Stack them. Fasten them together. Instant wall. All this white stuff is called alkali. This area is basically sand, clay, and alkali. Mostly sand. When it's wet out here and muddy, the stuff that's really thick and goopy and the stuff you don't want to walk in, that's the clay. The sand, the clay holds the moisture the longest. The sand, not the big deal. And this alkali leaches up. So you can have a dry spell for a month or whatever. And then the alkali will you'll kind of lose sight of it because the wind maybe is blowing around the dust. And then it kind of covers it up. But after a rain, it leaches back up. There's quite a bit. And apparently, signs of alkali means that there's a good chance that there's oil and gas in the ground. Or crude, just like here. This is a pump pumping out oil, crude. Hey girl. I've been bringing her out since she was a little puppy. Her and her sister. Her sister's not around anymore. She tragically ate some poison. Maybe I can share that another time. I gotta clear my throat. The beekeepers like to bring their hives out here. You probably can't see the box, but there's an old hive. They'll bring them out probably in the next few weeks when it's not freezing anymore. The temperature now is probably mid-40s, but at night it's still been freezing. But I'm going to check out my hoop house garden later to see how things are doing. I definitely need to open it up because it's starting to heat up inside. I always listen to a podcast when I come out walking, or music, but mostly a podcast. Mike Adams, the health ranger, he is always producing daily podcasts, Monday through Friday. He just covers basically big stories breaking news, analysis of those. And then always has super informative interviews as well with all kinds of guests. I find his podcast entertaining and informative, educational, all the stuff I like in a podcast. I want to learn all the time. I'd rather watch a documentary, or let's just say I like to learn. Love to learn. Pick that over entertainment. I mean, like pure entertainment. Although I do like to play games. Got back into PlayStation 4. I play that. But when it comes to my walks, I do like to hear podcasts. And I take my dog and the neighbor's dogs. And then when I have my kids, I take them too. Saia, girl. I'm going to show you what I call the treehouse. My wife is sick, and I've been around sick people lately. I feel like I'm developing something in my throat. But that kombucha that I'm making, or about to make, I ordered a SCOBY off the internet. Let's see, what's that SCOBY stand for again? Oh, crud, it's an acronym. Something culture and bacteria. Let's see. I can't think of the definition again, but I guess when it grows and ferments in your tea mixture with sugar, you end up with a pretty strong probiotic mix, and something you can grow perpetually. In time, you'll see that basically what looks like a thin pancake forms over the top of my container, and that is the mass of bacteria. And I mean, it's more than just bacteria. It's like I don't know, I don't think it's necessarily considered a plant, but it's an organism, and boy is it good for you. People pay money for that organic kombucha. I'm gonna make it over and over again with a single purchase of $10 on eBay. I'm gonna have that sucker going for years, I know it. Anyway, we're at a place where the owner of this land has decided to leave a bunch of, I'll go over there. No, this is kind of his storage space. So he's got his trailer, camper, old decrepit thing. Windows are busted out. And some abandoned vehicles. It's kind of cool in there, actually. You know, from the outside it doesn't look so large, but when you're on the inside, you have all the things you need, really. There's no shower, though. Kitchen, sink, stovetop, fridge, bed, small space for a chair. Anyway, I'm not going to hang around over here. I'm going to show you the treehouse. I was just listening to part of the podcast. Oh, incidentally, today's April 9th? Wait, the 10th? Let's see, 8, 9, yes, 10th. It's Wednesday, 2024, April 10th. Just listening to Mike Adams, who was playing a clip. I think the guy who shot the video was talking with an FBI agent undercover. Well, let's just say the guy shooting the video shot undercover video of the agent. Agent was talking about how they set up Alex Jones. How they set up people that they decide they don't like and want to bring down. This right here, this is what I call the treehouse. It is a confined space, and it goes down in a hole that goes about 5 or 6 feet down. 5 or 6 feet in diameter. It's a hiding spot. Anyway, it's related to all those pipes and crap where they move the gas and crude. I guess maybe it's just gas. I'm not 100% sure. And over here is a 10-acre property where they have horses a lot of the time. And this fence here, see how all the sagebrush has... Actually, that's not sagebrush. That's another desert plant. Well, maybe it's a mixture. There's some thorny crap in there too. But it's so windy out here that it's just piled up against this barbed wire and wire fence. Saia, come here. Sit. Stay. Stay right there. Okay? Stay there. I'm gonna walk clear of the crowd over here. Stay there, girl. I haven't had her do this for a long time. But when I had both puppies, when they were just like 3 months old, I started training them to sit and wait, and I'd walk away, I don't know, 100 yards. And, you know, eventually got further and further away from her, or them. Then I'd raise my hand up and say, Saia, Nara, come! And they would both run towards me, and I'd give them love and tell them they were good. And they became pretty obedient dogs. Anyway, she's still there. Ba-ding. I haven't really trained her to do anything that interesting. I mean, sitting and waiting is probably the most impressive thing, because she just sits. She'll sit in the dark. She'll sit in all kinds of conditions. When I get to the end of this fence line, I'll call her. Okay. Saia, come! Good girl. Her hauling ass. Good job. Good job. Good girl. Turkey. Good job. I haven't made her sit and wait forever. She sure is fast, man. And she's a jumper. I think I'll go down to what I call Portrait Rock. Now you've seen the treehouse. Mm-hmm. Now you'll see Portrait Rock. Portrait Rock. See all this stuff out here? That camper, all the junk. That's within the last year and a half. This guy named Billy Maybe I'll run into him again. Billy's hired by some woman in Vernal to bring all her excess belongings out here. And the big cargo containers there. That's their stuff too. Stuff that they just didn't want in Vernal, so they brought it out here. It's just sitting out here. It's stuff that ought to go to a dump or something, because it's just junk. Scraps of wood, metal, chairs that are garbage, books. I suppose in a survival situation you might find some handy stuff, but for the most part it's garbage. Tables, I mean, what the hell? It's a shame, man. It's a shame. Tarps. I like the containers, but really they don't, I don't know. It's nice that you can choose to do what you want with your land out here. There aren't strict kind of zoning, or sorry, there aren't strict codes enforced, at least, like they would be in the city. It's out here, nobody cares. Yeah, and there's abandoned vehicles too. But we're gonna go to the Portait Rock. This is a route that I've taken since having the dog. Dogs. Saia loves it. Sometimes her friends come with us. Lucky is a Labrador, and 2 French Bulldogs go with us sometimes too. The neighbor dogs. It's nice out here. The weather's good today. Skies are clear. Hey. Keep going. There's a spot over here. I suspect that some deer like to hang out. Not a lot of deer, but they do come out. Saia even found the remains of a coyote off there somewhere in the distance. She brought back a carcass, basically, and she was just like digging into it. Here's where I suspect that deer hang out at times, because the grass has been laid over. And they got the shelter of the tree, the tall grass. Yeah. Maybe even a small herd, 5 or 6 of them, who knows. Tons of anthills out here. Oh, there's even some ant activity. Look at that. A few ants. Another drilling operation over there. Well, maybe I should kind of have a thought for the day. My thought for the day, maybe something along the lines of the fact that we're entering spring. It's a good idea to think about getting more serious about growing more on my own property. I've prepared many call them raised beds, but really they're old boxes from beehives that I sourced for free from a local bee company, or honey company, Yak's Honey, here in Roosevelt, Utah. So they're happy to share their older bee boxes that aren't great for bees anymore because their age kind of falling apart. But they're great for raised bed gardening. And I've got easily, let's see, 24, easily over 80 boxes in my yard. Just recently I brought 50 more home, and I already had 30 or more. Used to have many more, but I gave them away. You know, Saia's a good dog. She barks though at night. She barks at the dumbest shit. Cats. Probably even birds at night, man. A lot of things set her off. But back to the thought of the day, though. My thought of the day is the idea of, well, okay, going back to the SCOBY, the kombucha tea. I want to have that as my own healthy drink. It's probiotics. Probiotics are so key to staying healthy, right? You gotta have the right gut bacteria to stay healthy. Health, the foundation of a good healthy person is a good gut microbiome. You've got to have awesome bacteria in your gut performing its job to keep you healthy. And I think replenishing yourself with good bacteria is going to go a long way. And then try to abstain from eating a lot of sugar, because that just weakens your immune system and causes inflammation, something that I'm suffering from right now with my lungs. This is Portrait Rock. Portrait Rock. I thought of taking pictures of my kids here, but it's not a rock. It's an old tree. Look at that awesome lichen. So, Portrait Rock, bam. And I'd say we've walked a mile or more. There's a lot of directions to go out here. I could go on a long walk, I can go on a short walk. Whatever, lots to do. Thought of the day. Thought of the day is get ready for a lot of tomatoes and potatoes and onions, peppers. So this year I'm going to grow a lot of things. Eggplant, zucchini, squash, a lot of tomatoes. I got this new vegetable I never even heard of, called Jerusalem artichoke or sunchoke. When you see it growing at its peak growth, it looks like kind of like a tall, green, leafy sunflower without the sunflower seeds in the head. But it's a yellow petaled flower. Never grown it, but what's happening under the ground is tubers are growing, basically underground, and not potatoes. They're different. Haven't tried them, but I was given some sunchoke tubers from a friend in Bountiful. A guy named Rulin I ran into 3 years ago. Rulin and his wife, Isabel. They're interesting people. Rulin is absolutely obsessed with blackberries. He has so many blackberry bushes in pots around his yard. Like, that's his favorite thing to grow is blackberries. And he grows tomatoes, and he grows the Jerusalem artichoke. And he's got garlic. And he's got like a cherry tree. I think a peach tree. You know, he has a pretty focused kind of... his garden doesn't kind of deviate from those main uh, from those vegetables and fruits. The berries, he loves the berries. Anyway, my what I'm growing, I'm trying to get like a wide variety of things. So currently, in the greenhouse, right now I've got, let's see, rhubarb, onions, garlic coming up, peas, spinach, French sorel, and is that 5? Seems like I have 6 things. Oh, strawberries. And I put some potatoes in the ground, and 2 varieties, the red and the yellow, golden, I should say. And we're gonna have a lot of tomatoes. My wife wants Romas, and yeah, my thought of the day really is gardening is on my mind, and I've been happy to start everything from seed. And I do have blackberries too in my yard. Rulon gave me some starts last 2 years ago. They kind of died out, so I was up in Bountiful at a park, and down by the ravine there was a lot of just natural blackberries everywhere, and I just pulled half a dozen from the roots and transplanted them in my yard. They're alive, but I've yet to see berries, and they've branched off and vined out into the soil here, and I'm surprised that the roots took, because the soil is garbage. Like I said, I described it as sand and clay primarily, and then areas where there's the alkali. See these vehicles over here? What is that? Is that an old Toyota? Or Subaru? What is that thing? Dodge? What is that thing? That burgundy color one. Never really came to inspect it. It's American. Plymouth? What the hell is that thing? Oh, it's a Camry. Okay. Old Camry. I bet this sucker would start. And an old SCOBY, Forester, and some jackass broke the window. I'm not the jackass, by the way. Yeah, I bet there's a bunch of good parts on there. Not that I give a crap. I drive Toyota. But that Toyota, man, that's probably like early 90s. Those things run. So desert walks is what I do for fun. And this whole time that I'm kind of narrating over my own walk, I'm not listening to my podcast, which is what I'd rather be doing. But this is just a trial here. I'm basically testing out this new chest mount I got from eBay. A seller by the name of Andy. So thank you, Andy. This chest strap is turning out to be handy, Andy. Woo! It's the handy Andy chest mount. And I'm shooting in extra wide, or whatever the term is, super wide mode. There are several landmarks out here I think eventually I will share. Yeah, back to the thought of the day for the 5th time. gonna really push my garden. I want eggplants. I want squash, zucchini. I want cucumber, tomato, peppers, hot chili peppers. I got hot jalapenos coming. I got some giant jalapenos and some regular, and some Roma tomato seeds that the local plant store nursery didn't have. So I got them on eBay. They're in the mail right now. I've got probably a dozen varieties of tomato seeds that my wife doesn't care for so much. I love them and I'll grow them, but she wants to have more aroma because we're gonna make salsa. We're gonna come up with our awesome salsa, and I got onions growing. So the basic ingredients for a great salsa are tomato, jalapeno, onion, and throw cilantro in there and some lime. Then you got an awesome freaking salsa. And speaking of lime, obviously I can't grow limes here, but my French sorel, which I got from my friend Rulin in Bountiful, older guy, retired, former fireman. He's probably in his late 70s, early 80s. He's getting up there. But he shared that French sorel with me. And this year I plan to transplant more of it in different pots. And I spread it around. I did that last year. I kind of broke up the clump of growth, the root system, and put it in 2 pots. And now I've got 2 pots of the stuff grown. And it's very prolific. It just wants to grow. Just like most everything just wants to grow. Seems like in my mind, there's a design behind it for perpetual, continuous growth and replication, reproduction. So that French sorrel is nice. Oh, yeah, I was talking about let's loop back to what I was talking about with the lime. So the sorrel has a citrusy flavor. So it will be fun to kind of experiment with if I can achieve that limey taste with the leafy green sorrel. And obviously I can grow, as I said, tomato, onion, pepper, chili, jalapeno, and cilantro. Yeah, cilantro. That's something I need to plant. I don't know if we have any seed. I can get it though. The local nursery has seed. I was just being a cheapskate that day and didn't buy any. So this is a really wide field of view, which means that objects far away are going to look like an eternity away. And when my dog runs to me, she's going to run up super fast. Saia, come here. Come here. Here, let's find an open spot. See here. Come here. Come. She's going to get to me really fast. Good girl. That's my doggy. That's my doggy. Go get him. Go get him. Go get those rabbits. Yeah, so 7 things are growing very successfully at this point. And my spinach, man, it is doing awesome. The hardy, the cold hardy veggie stuff I'm growing. I had spinach coming up a month and a half ago in that greenhouse. Hoop house. In my hoop house, it gets very warm. Like right now, it's probably 40 now, maybe 42 degrees. It's warmed up since the beginning of the walk. It's probably pushing 85 degrees in there, maybe 80. But I would not dare have it all closed up. If it was 70 degrees out, I would bake all my vegetables everything would perish. So I must keep an eye on the temperature, and pretty soon I'll be opening it completely up because it will be sweltering hot. But man, I'll tell you what, it's cool to be able to have stuff start early. I mean, I've helped my strawberries. You know, what I have, like 9 pots of strawberries last year. Good size, what was it, 18 inches across the diameter, the pots. Like 9 of them. And that was from 3 plants. Just 3 strawberry. Maybe it was 4. I don't know, it wasn't that many. But it spread like wildfire. Those strawberries are awesome. I was so impressed with how they propagated. And they shoot out these shoots. And they just want to go find a place to root and start all over. It's incredible. I think more than anything I've observed last year was the willingness, eagerness of strawberries to send out shoots and grow. So because I'm starting with 9 pots this year, I could easily, like, quadruple. Easily. No, more. I could end up with like 40 pots, but that seems crazy. I don't need that many strawberries. And incidentally, last year when everything, died down, I was wondering, are my strawberries coming back? Is there an intact root system? Is that how it works? Are they going to come back? And I had a discussion with Rick over at All Red's Garden Nursery. And Rick said, yep, they're going to come back. You know what? He was right. They came back. Here's some more sage. It's everywhere. And this actually, see, the green stuff doesn't have an odor to me. That's my nose's garbage. This darker stuff and drier stuff is more, has more aroma for my nose. You know what though? That stuff is anti-inflammatory too. I could easily come out here and harvest just simply coming up to the plant. Bam. And that can go in a tea right there. Right there. There's a crap ton of it. It's everywhere. But Mike Adams, man. God bless that dude. The health ranger. The health ranger report. I download his podcast daily. And that's what I would be listening to. But I can listen to it when I'm screwing around with my yard. I want to just kind of get a sense of whether or not on these walks, if me narrating a walk would be of interest to anybody. I like to consume content, media, don't we all? I don't know. But when we get back, I'm going to check out the hoop house and see how it's doing. See the temperature. I don't think I'll water today. I watered a few days ago. So it's basically a big belt. It's a tower with the belt. The belt goes zoop. It's a big rubber, probably an inch or more thick, and probably 2 feet wide from my estimate from here. It goes up and down, and it's a pump. It's one of the different kinds of pumps they have. They got the pumps that do this action. This is a similar up and down action. Probably a piston or something in there. But I was told that as soon as there's enough flow or suction produced or the right pressure in the pipes that it turns off. So that's just to kind of prime it. And I didn't know that damn thing was even here when we bought the home. And that thing is what, 300 yards from my home? Who knows what the hell's in the groundwater here, man? Yeah. So out here is a challenge for me, for gardening. There aren't a lot of gardeners in this area that I've taken note of. And I drive around town, so there's a lot of yards I can look at. I'm the only one on my road that I'm aware of that has this kind of growing operation. Okay, that's a lie. I found out that my neighbor, her name is Naomi, she had a little garden, but you know, I think tomatoes, I don't know the extent, but nothing like I'm doing. And I'm not a farmer. That's not what I do full time. I like to have fresh produce, but it does take a season to get it. But in the meantime, there are things that come in earlier, like the onions. I'm already collecting onion greens, and I'm eating the French sorel. Spinach for sure, yeah. Lots of spinach. So yeah, I'm already eating out of what I'm growing. It's a shame. You see all the glass? All this glass? I guess the people that rented my home before we bought it had kids that came out and broke bottles. But you know what? I have spent much time cleaning up the desert. When I first started walking my dogs, I would find empty feed bags from whether it was chicken feed or rabbit feed, big large bags that hold 50 pounds of feed. And they were empty, blowing around in the wind. I'd pick it up because I didn't want to see it when I'm walking. And then I decided to start picking up plastic and cans, metal. And I've hauled out many bags of garbage because I simply didn't want to see it on my walks. All right, we're almost back. Incidentally, this is the home of my neighbor Shelby. Her boyfriend's name is Corwin. Corwin's a good guy. He does kind of like a jack of all trades. He can run backhoes, he can run excavators, he can do framing, you know, demolition stuff. All these tires were meant for me to make an earth ship one day that I envisioned having on this piece of my property here. This tiny spot here is probably, not even an eighth of an acre. The entire property is 0.4. So that's half. Maybe this is I don't know, whatever. It's, was it 30 feet by 80 feet? But all these tires are for future projects. And I sourced them for free from a place locally that shut down. They had a big pile of tires you could crawl up on. All right. And these tires here, these were once raised bed gardening beds, but the neighbor's dog likes to come and lay in them and rip out the dirt. So I replaced all them with bee boxes. These bee boxes here that will soon have, I imagine, zucchini or something that vines out like squash, watermelon, different kinds of maybe honeydew melon, stuff that likes to vine out. Be happy to grow up on this rock. And here's my strawberries. Can you see the strawberries? The sun's not in the best spot. But this year, I've already pre-positioned empty pots for them to spread out. So you can see all the old vine that I'm mostly going to leave in there because it adds, you know, organic material just to the pot itself. And over the winter, it added a layer of insulation. I don't know, it makes sense to kind of try to stick with what nature's already shown me. I mean, if it's too viney, I'll pull it out. But all that will build the soil. Okay, so here is the hoop house. It's 17 feet long. Is that a rip? No. So it's 17 feet long. And it's a little over 6 feet tall. But here we are. Ooh, it's warm. What's the temp at? Oh my gosh, it's 100. I don't know if you can tell, it's 100. So maybe it is warmer than that outside. Let's see. The current temperature. I'm going to brighten my screen up. The current temperature outside. Okay, it's 52. I was estimating lower 40s, but I was wrong. So it's 52 degrees out now, and it's 100 degrees in here. Look at all my spinach. I mean, these leaves are fatter and longer than some dollar bills, you know. This is the French sorrel. It has a citrusy taste. And spinach, well, that tastes like spinach. This is an awesome variety, though, because it grows really large leaves and thick, just hardy. Oh, there's a weed I want to pull. I don't want competing weeds. Bye-bye. Dead leaves can go. The sorrel is good. So we got 6 boxes of 6 boxes of spinach. And here, I just barely put in some onion sets, and you can see some of the first onions coming up. 1, 2 in here that are visible. There's one here. 1, 2. This one's got 1 showing up. 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. And probably signs of, oh yes, this is what I did. I had planted potatoes in here a while ago, and I had forgotten about it, but they had started to come up. In fact, I'm tempted to kind of dig down to see the condition, or should I wait? Maybe I'll wait to see if they come back, because the frost just beat the crap out of them. They're starting to green on top. They were forming, and then I left the hoop house open, and it didn't warm up the same as it would. So at night, it got cold in here, and it just hammered my potatoes. But I want to see if they'll kind of have a resurgence. And here are my peas. Peas are doing really well. My kids helped me plant these. And I'll pull the weeds out as needed. Don't want competing vegetation. And I did replant more seed or peas because not all of them sprouted. And these peas are from last year, from my pea plants from last year that I kept the seeds, or I kept the peas themselves. What are you doing? Are you eating my sorrel? It's okay, come here. Saia, where are you going? Come here. Good dog. Good doggy. Yeah, it's a good doggy. A good doggy. Uh-huh. No. Oh, shit. You get out of here. Go. Go. Yeah. Okay. You stay out there. I just wanted to say hi, but you don't belong on these garden beds, turkey. Okay, and so I got 12 boxes of peas. And in here, I've got garlic. Yeah, but the garlic, let's just say it's taking its time. Maybe I need to water. I'll water off camera. But this is garlic. I planted, oh man, a fair amount. I planted 3 boxes worth of garlic. And I only see 3 shooting up. And these are all my onions. Onions are doing well. And a lot of this is planted from, in fact, most of the stuff here is planted from seed. You let it go to seed, you keep that seed. Or, you know, the seed forms on the pod at the top of the onion. It goes up probably like 3 feet, forms a round ball. And then you got a ton of seed up there. And then it either naturally falls or you can collect it. But anyhow, a lot of the little growth here, there, and that's garbage. There. That is from seed. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 boxes. Onions. Plus 6 more. I'm crazy about onions. And this is my rhubarb. Rhubarb. This stuff is hardy, man. See all the hardy stuff? Just rares back to life. Or roars back to life. And this is another thing that I've potted or propagated. I could easily split these 2 into 2 more and have 4 rhubarb plants. Let's actually pick a stem. Cool thing about rhubarb, hold it firmly by the stem and just pull. And you can end up with, I don't really eat the leaf. There's probably a use for it. I'm not familiar with the use yet. But with salt, these are awesome. I'm just going to eat it raw. It's especially good with salt. Oh, she did chew on something. She chewed on some of my, looks like spinach. You funny dog. Rhubarb is so fibrous that I just prefer to chew it. And suck the juice out. It's bitter. Salt makes it tasty. I guess salt makes it salty, which is tasty. Ah, that's good. So, sorel, 1, spinach, 2, onions, 3, and a potato. Those aren't going to make it though, maybe. So say 3. Peas, 4. Garlic, 5. Rhubarb, 6. Strawberry, 7. So 7 things growing right now. I'll leave that door open. I'm going to prop this up so dogs don't screw with it. No, you stay out of there. Yeah, not a very good system, but it's fine. I'll show you all this another time. Because I have more boxes over there. This is my original greenhouse that I never covered. It's got an interesting roof that I kind of envisioned, and I didn't want something regular. I wanted something unusual and different. But these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I wasn't going to show you, but here I am showing you. These 6 first bee boxes have the Jerusalem artichoke. And it'll be fun to see those come up. And these next 6 that have different looking mixture in soil, these 6 have potatoes, the golden, Yukon gold and red. And this has not been planted. And I barely put this little wall up. They're railroad ties. So they're performing a function now. Before they were sitting in my yard. And right there is my compost. And previously I owned rabbits. And man, they produce a lot of manure. And so manure of the rabbits, leaves that I collected from the golf course, and straw, and even, you know, kitchen scraps, producing some nice compost for me that I mixed with soil from the garden store, All Reds, with some of the native soil here. So in here, I basically have just bee boxes that need to be planted. And these were the previous containers. All these plastic pots, they used to live in here. But this is a lot more efficient because there's gaps between round containers. Obviously, it looks like a egg. A bit of eggshell, probably from my compost. What do I got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 20 here. And then 4, 5, 8 here. You know, I wanted more walking room, so I don't have everything jam-packed in here. You really can't reach a lot further than two boxes anyway when you're tending to your plants and a little bit of weeding. But this stuff is sitting here waiting for me to plant my... I'm going to do eggplant, probably on this end. It worked out well here before. I'll probably do 4 boxes of eggplant, and then some jalapeno peppers. I want the shorter crops to be up front, and then I'll have my taller plants in the back, like my tomato. That seemed to work last year. I definitely don't want the tall stuff shading out the shorter stuff. And I still have a handful of onion sets that need to go in the ground. I just left them here. I'll take care of them. I don't know where to put them. I got so many onions. Maybe I'll just plant some randomly in the yard somewhere and not even water them and see how they do. Just as an experiment. Anyway, this will be fun. I'm trying something I just thought of. See how this is kind of layered here? Terraced kind of growing situation. I don't know, the space is here, and I figured I'd try. Visually, maybe it's kind of cool to see plants on top of each other. In this space, again, I'll probably have something that vines out. The viney stuff. The big leaf stuff. Alright. So that'll be it. Thank you for joining me.